Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are trying to uncover the effects of the new Showtime skill, Shadow Hunt. All the credits for the test and videos goes to Amadeusz and their Reddit team. Let's get started. First experimental design, using the kickoff as a stable initial state, I had the player run forward and backward. I chose De Rossi for the test because I can switch his position between DMF, which triggers the skill, and CMF, which does not. What I monitored was the player's running animation/gait. This is because if acceleration falls below 88, the player's stride changes due to the lowered stat. Speed has a similar mechanic. Since I was already mentally prepared for the skill's stat boost to be relatively small, observing their animation up close is definitely better than trying to judge their positioning from a distance. The gait observation method has previously been proven to detect even a single point difference in stats. Let's see the result. Pace and acceleration were completely unaffected. The forward run, mentioned above, can be understood as a defensive action pressing toward the opponent, while the backward run is a tracking back action. Furthermore, the opponent was passing the ball around while the player was running, which proves that the skill's trigger conditions are not the opponent passing, pressing during defense, or tracking back during defense. Of course, this result didn't surprise me. After all, the official description states the condition is when a pass is played behind them. I was just testing my luck to see if it could be measured that easily. Second experimental design. The opponent has possession in their own half, and my player turns around to run back from right to left, creating a stable initial state. This scenario can genuinely be called a recovery chase. And since the opponent is both holding possession and making passes, it fits the description of when an opponent plays a pass behind them. The results. Still no signs of the skill affecting pace or acceleration. Third experimental design. The opponent's goalkeeper plays a long goal kick forward, ensuring the landing point is behind my player, while I manually control the test player to run back. This ensures they start from the exact same reference point to create a stable initial state. Still no effect. The phrase, when an opponent plays a pass behind them, in the skill description, isn't as literal or straightforward as it seems. At this point, it hit me. In actual matches, whenever an opponent plays a through ball, your own players will often automatically start sprinting backward. Even if you switch the cursor to that player, they will chase after the ball without you even inputting a command. Could it be that the skill only activates during this specific automatic chasing state? Fourth experimental design. Utilizing a corner kick combined with manual passing, I dragged the test player to a fixed position to create a stable initial state. All of the scenarios mentioned above involved automatic ball chasing, where the landing point was behind the player. Yet the results prove that during automatic chasing, Shadow Hunt provides absolutely no boost to acceleration. Summarizing the information above, we can at least prove that. 1. When the opponent has possession and you are chasing them down, the skill does not boost pace or acceleration. 2. The effect is not triggered simply by the ball landing behind the player. 3. During the automatic chasing state triggered by an opponent's through ball, the skill does not boost acceleration. 4. Considering the above tests, there was no difference whatsoever in the turning speed or reaction time between the two players, meaning this skill definitely does not affect defensive reaction time. I haven't yet figured out a scenario that can guarantee both a stable initial state and a recovery path long enough to exceed 3 grass stripes to properly test top speed. While Konami does love using vague descriptions to bait people into spending money, they wouldn't go as far as giving us a skill that has absolutely zero effect. Therefore, the truth most likely lies within the following possibilities. 1. When the game registers a defensive through-ball state, which can be determined by whether the player automatically chases the ball, the skill gives a slight boost to speed, 85% probability. Note, I'm not saying that manually controlling the player at this moment will break the speed buff. Automatic chasing is simply how we identify the state. 2. Triggering the skill requires much stricter conditions, such as running shoulder to shoulder with an opponent nearby. 10% probability. 3. The skill's effect is a more abstract, mechanical change that is harder to perceive, such as locking onto the ball earlier when running side by side with an opponent, or having higher priority in physical 50-50 challenges, 5% probability. As for why I believe possibility 1 is the most likely, let's take a look at the official skill showcase video. Actually, there is a very obvious hint. In all three scenarios, the players had already fully accelerated and secured possession at their maximum speed. This strongly suggests it's a matter of speed rather than acceleration. While this skill hasn't been completely demystified yet, we have already proven that many players' overly high expectations for it are unjustified. My advice on spinning for this card is, if you are drawing specifically for this skill, you can absolutely play it safe for now and wait and see. The design of Showtime, ST skills, is often intentionally vague just to tempt players into spending, especially when it's a newly introduced skill. Every ST skill eventually rolls out to more players anyway, and I have never seen anyone genuinely regret missing out on a card solely because of an ST skill. The classic examples that people actually regret missing, like white-haired Araujo Vieira or big-time BT Leão, are because the overall profiles of the cards themselves are incredibly overpowered, which has almost nothing to do with the skills. I've watched the few mind-blowing clips of Shadow Hunt circulating online. In some of them, the player simply walled off the opponent's positioning, and in another, the player made a sharp little change of direction toward the ball, which made for a great visual highlight. I've also personally tested De Rossi and Maldini for plenty of matches, and even spent 2 hours in friendlies with a buddy specifically testing tracking back runs against pass and go /1-2 combos. My takeaway is this: with or without this skill, the result is always that you catch up to some, and you don't catch up to others. I didn't include clips without a stable initial state in this video. My preliminary conclusion stands: this is not a game-breaking, meta-shattering skill.